Okay, so here's what I wanted to do. Watching YouTube, came across some videos on how to improve my Etsy site, and I found one by this lady right here. And I don't want to necessarily slaughter her name. Holly Casto, I guess, is her name. And I watched this video actually right here: 15 reasons why your Etsy site, why you're not getting sales on your Etsy site. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through there, and I actually wrote down a list of everything she said, and I wanted to go and kind of compare these things with my site. So the first thing she said is that I need a professional look, logo, pictures. Now, I played around with a lot of different logos, and I ended up sticking with something kind of simple here on my shop, just a stacked logo. I also have a version of it that goes sideways. I think digital is uh, shaded gray, and then T-shirt shop is just white in the center. But went with a very simple logo. But if you look at my website, it is actually very clean, but it is very plain. Now, I do have another Etsy site called Family T-shirt Shop. And I don't know. I mean, this is what it looks like. It could be that, maybe a little more complex logo with the actual logo instead of text, and maybe some sort of fancy header might be something that I want to do and go take the time to put on my Etsy site to make it a little more dynamic. Now I've got two different, because I have a pattern site. This is what the pattern site looks like with my domain name pointing to it. And then this is what my regular Etsy site looks like right here. If you happen to hop into it through Etsy. And I don't know why it does one thing over another, but again, it looks pretty plain. Maybe plain is not what I'm looking for here. Even though I have 18 sales, I don't have any reviews, and I know that's something that she points out later. So logo, pictures, I really don't have any pictures other than the images that I have right here. On to the next thing she talks about is not enough items. Now, I do think that I've got enough items here. I've actually got 51 items, and I'm adding things. I just haven't been adding them as fast as I want to be adding them. Now, I've gone and done a little bit of research. There's a website called craftcount.com, that actually will go through and show you all of the best-selling Etsy sites. And for example, you go in by category and you look at, I'm doing clothing, so if I go in and look at clothing, the number one clothing site on Etsy is Signature T-shirts, which is a T-shirt site with 145,000 sales. So I mean, I could go and I could compare and say, okay, well, what did Signature T-shirts do? Signature T-shirts does have a big header. Okay, nice fancy header actually. Looks like they've got a variety of different looks for their T-shirts. As you scroll down, they've got other images. It looks as though some of these might, those actually look like their images. Looks as though they have image of their printer. Looks like they've got reviews, other type of information they have about their business. It looks like they have a carousel here of images related to their business. So if I was to compare my business to their business and go look at Digital T-shirt Shop, well, I've got a pretty bland heading compared to them. All of my T-shirts look the same, may or may not. I mean, it's simple, it's uniform. But then you hit this bottom and there's nothing. There's no pictures about me. There's no pictures about my business. There's no information about my business. There's nothing right there. So maybe I need to go in and fill that out. Again, that actually looks like I hop back to this first one here about looking professional. Not enough items. I've got plenty of items, I think. She had pointed out that this might have supposed to have said extra care. We appreciate your feedback. Oh, an extra card. She was talking about inserting something into what you mail and saying, hey, come and give us feedback. Good reviews help. I don't have a single review. If I go over to my other Etsy site, Family T-shirt Shop, I actually have 23 reviews, and I believe that they are all 5-star reviews. And I have some people that have actually, like this, have posted photos of the products that I sent them. Going on, so too much negative feedback. Well, I don't have any feedback. Neither of my sites have negative feedback. Be positive in your replies. I haven't had to worry about that, but I know it's a tendency of mine to take personal offense, and you got to step back and think out what you're going to say and be polite and professional in your reply. Having good product, that your product doesn't suck. I think that my shirts are good. They're good quality. From the likes that I have, the reviews I have, people are pleased with the quality of my product. Photos. Now, this is an interesting one. I've basically taken, in most cases, a stock photo and overlaid my graphic on it in order to produce a thumbnail to sell my product. If I go over to my other site, I've actually, in a couple of cases, used a model that I've actually paid to have photos taken of a model, of a number of models. This is one of my neighbors, and we got a professional photographer, and the professional photographer took pictures of her. Recently, actually, just yesterday, I got some photos back from another photo shoot that I had taken. Let me see if I can find it here real fast. This is another neighbor of mine, and I had photos of her taken with t-shirts. So, and I've got really just a whole lot of t-shirts here of her that I'm able to actually use. So if I one of the shirts I did have I had her take a picture of was the cool pineapple shirt. There's her in the cool pineapple shirt. Now, it does cost money. I pay the photographer. The photographer is actually her mother, and then I pay the model, and then I actually let her keep all the shirts that she takes photos in. But it costs money. It takes time. I've got to wait for the photos to come in, but I end up with some really nice photos. Now, one of the things I need to do is I need to take these photos with the model and the images, and then I need to make sure that I get them worked into my Etsy site. I probably will crop the photo a little bit, and I need to add a brand on it for Digital T-Shirt Shop. So that's one thing I'm doing. I just don't have nice photos of every single product, but I'll add them as I get them. And I'm sure that the ones that I have, I think she looks great, and I think it's a nice photo. And as I add those photos to the images, I'm sure it'll help sell the product. The next one, not promoting enough. You need to have some social media. You need to have something. You don't need to necessarily be on everything. Now, I do have, again, Instagram. We've been putting the shirts on Instagram. We've been putting them on Facebook. We've been putting them on YouTube. I know that's not necessarily, I know we're looking at Holly's there, but I've got, all of these videos that I've been posting with, my different t-shirts. When I post new t-shirts, we've been putting those on YouTube as well. So we're actually doing that. We just need to be a little bit more consistent with it, I think. Is your brand cohesive? Does it make sense? Is it original? Now, there's some things on here that I think are original. I think there's some things here that are more trendy with some of the current trends and what people are buying in t-shirts. A lot of these phrase t-shirts, even though some might be slightly similar to others, some might be slightly different, some might, I don't know that I have anything that's a direct copy of somebody else's phrase that I guess burn baby burn could be a direct copy of something, or it's a common phrase. But most of these should be slightly different, or if not different from what other people have. I do purposefully try not to copy anything that anybody else has used or anybody else does. I know you can go to different sites like Zazzle and Cafe Press and these sites, and find 20, 30 people that are all posting the same designs. And that's not something that I want to do. And I'd prefer to stay away from that and do things that are different. So some of these other things I've drawn myself, like all of the dude shirts and the Hawaiian shirts and some of these palm trees and flowers and pineapples and things like that. Those are different things that I've just drawn myself in Illustrator. So some cohesiveness with what I'm doing. Yes, they're all t-shirts. Are they all over the place? Uh, I'm a pretty fly by the seat of my pants person. I am not always channeled into one thought, I think. And so, I mean, if I have an idea, I'm going to run with the idea, and I don't really care if it's conforms to everything else. My whole life doesn't center around mountain biking, so every one of my shirts are not mountain biking shirts. Now, I used to love mountain biking, but I haven't even thought of a good mountain biking shirt. Uh, you know, my daughter loves princesses and romance, the tween romance type stuff and those types of things. So sometimes some of those things are interesting to me. Uh, well, one thing that I think about a lot are the travel or the holiday type shirts, and once I start piecing in all those little things, I mean, I go off in a lot of different directions with relation to my shirts. Um, and hopefully that being kind of random that way is not necessarily too bad, but I'm cohesive in the sense that I'm just selling t-shirts. Hopefully that's not too bad. And I do again try to be as original as possible. Overpriced. Now, we had a video about being overpriced, underpriced. We purposefully went with a lower price on these, not necessarily to devalue the product, but more to increase sales. We wanted to be competitive with the people who were selling the most t-shirts. Now, again, t-shirts on Etsy can range from $30 down to $10, and we kind of picked a price point on the lower end of that. And most of the new shirts that we put on have actually had that lower price. And again, not to devalue the brand, it is a t-shirt. It's not a cheap t-shirt, but it's a t-shirt, and we've just simply priced it in a way that we wanted to price it to be competitive. Now, we didn't price it to undercut everybody. If I wanted to price it to undercut everybody, I would have naturally gone to the very, very lowest price I could sell it at. Maybe that might have been $6 or $7 that I would have priced my shirt at. And at that point, I probably would be devaluing my brand and my product. I'd probably would get sales, but I'd have to sell twice as much to make as much. The amount of time it takes to ship. Now, I've been trying to ship these in 1 to 2 days. When I post each of the items, I say that it'll take 3 to 5 days to ship it, for us to process and ship it. And in some cases, there have been 3 to 5 days with my other store to ship things, and that would be dependent on, the day of the week, complications I've got at work, the amount of printing I need to do, a lot of things like that. We have tried to keep our shipping price competitive. We are trying to watch our shipping time. I can't ship it as fast as Amazon in every case where it ships the same day or the next day. But I mean, we do Amazon sales, and Amazon requires it to be shipped within 2 days. So on those, I give a priority and try to make sure those are shipped no matter what. I have defaulted on that in the past, and Amazon has suspended my account. And I tell you, once Amazon suspends your account, it's a nightmare trying to get it back up again. When they suspended it because I had too many shipments that shipped late, and I'm talking about I shipped it in 3 days instead of 2 days in most cases. But I tell you, they would say, well, you need to go and appeal it, and you need to write us and tell us what you're going to do to correct it. How are you going to fix this? And I mean, I'm not an imbecile by any means, I don't think. I would consider myself at least of average intelligence, that I can write a detailed plan of how I'm going to correct my shipping problems with Amazon. And I would send it to them, and they'd write me back every single time and say, your plan is incomplete. Your plan is incomplete. And I'm like, okay, well, I've gone to college. I've got a college degree. I can write a plan. I can think of a plan. I can come up with a plan. I can detail it and articulate it, that I have a plan. And every single time you come back to me over weeks and weeks and weeks, 10 different submissions of plans and expanding on the plan, because every time they say that my plan is incomplete, I tell you, it got incredibly frustrating. And ultimately, they did end up letting me back in. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Bread. Thank you. You want me to put that back on it? Want to say hi, my name's Robbie. Come here. Say hi, my name's Robbie. I'm eating bread. Okay, go upstairs, dude. Anyways, so it did. But so especially with Amazon, that shipping is so important. Customizing my about page. Now that's one of those things that we looked at just a second ago, and I think it might apply to this right here, but also on the little t-shirt shop. And when I go to my about page, it just has a little bit about what and who I am, and there are no photos. There's a little bit of content talking about what we're doing. Again, this business the digital t-shirt shop was put together to kind of test what it's like starting a business and how easy it is to actually generate an income with it, and the sales that you're desiring, hit a sales goal, and all those types of things. So and so you're kind of walking through that process with me, and this kind of articulates that a bit and says where you can follow it at. But there's still not a lot there. I could probably go in and I could articulate that a bit more, add photos if it'll allow me to add photos, and expand on that content. Keep your shop updated and relevant. Now, I've been adding new products. I'm not really worried about that one. Don't be misleading. I'm not lying about my shirts in any way. They are t-shirts. I tell what they are. I talk about how they're printed. They're digitally printed. They're not screen printed. The printing process is different, and I'm very open about that. My pricing is not too low. I don't think it is. I like the $14.95, $14.99 price better, but we did the $11.99 to be competitive. Now this is one that, excuse me again, I was surprised that she said not offering international shipping. She said that this would hurt you because there are a lot of people who like to buy things from the States, and international shipping will increase your sales. Now, I did notice when I had been looking at some of the analytics that there were people that were, let me see if I can get in here and see. Shop stats. And then did it have, I thought this had location. Might be thinking of map. There we go. So where are the hits coming from? So far, our interest has been coming from the United States and Australia. I believe on my other one, it was like all over the place that I had. And my other Etsy site, I really have only had going for, maybe 6 months, 4 to 6 months longer than this site. And I know it has hits from all over the world. But she says that, by not offering international shipping, you're making a mistake and you're decreasing your sales. So I may want to go revisit that and determine whether international shipping is something that I want to go ahead and add to that. I may have to recalculate everything based on being able to I may have to change my whole shipping structure so that it offers both international and local, and it calculates it based on weight. And that gets complicated because every size t-shirt weighs a different amount and can cost a different amount to ship. Um, but that's basically what we have. Good customer service, no grammar mistakes, make it look big. That's kind of my review.